Well, here's a game I'm sure most of you have never heard of before. It's called Dead Alliance, a game I purchased randomly from a GameStop for I think like 20 bucks. Why? I don't know. I guess I thought the artwork looked cool or something. And after months and months of owning the game, I just finally now got around to playing it, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm actually really pissed off at myself. Only because I wish I knew about this game sooner. You see, Dead Alliance was released on the PS4 as well as on Steam back in 2017, and it's technically a budget title. When it came out, it was first priced at $39.99 instead of the usual $59.99. When you pop the disc in the PlayStation, you'll notice, well, Dead Alliance doesn't have a story to it. The main menu shows 4 options: quick play, private match, single player, or hideout. And single player is just where you can play against offline bots or by yourself on a map of your choosing. There's no real actual campaign mode or anything of the sort. And yes, you could argue that the solo survival is the game's campaign, but literally all it is you running from checkpoint to checkpoint, surviving waves of zombies, while at the same time listening to other people over the intercom explaining what's happening. They do give you a tutorial video, but it doesn't really explain a lot. Hell, it doesn't even really explain what the game's even about. It's probably the least informative tutorial for any game I think I've ever played. And luckily, however, it's really not all that complicated, but regardless, there's always going to be people who won't be able to understand what the hell is going on in this game due to lack of experience maybe with online first-person shooters, and of course the fact the game gives you little to no help in figuring out what does what. So what even is this game about? Allow me, for the sake of things, to read a segment from the About This Game section on the Steam store. Dead Alliance is a fast-paced multiplayer first-person zombie shooter set in a post-apocalyptic world where former military bases have been turned into the only remaining city-states. Build your squad and take strategic control of bases across maps infected with zombies, using the dead themselves as weapons against your opposing faction. Armed with a variety of loadouts that range from guns to pheromone grenades, you'll face off against enemy armies and gruesome, human-eating killers, all while attempting to capture and control as many bases as possible. The world is a wasteland, and your only hope for survival is to use the dead, or join them. Now, I'm not exactly one who values graphics as much as, say, like the typical modern gamer these days, or even a lot of these YouTube guys who absolutely need all their graphics to be played on ultra settings with the highest frame rate possible. I'm simply not that type of guy. I'm also not the type to sugarcoat things. You see, Dead Alliance is quite frankly really ungodly dogshit ugly. It's not even an opinion. This game looks like someone threw up on top of like dirty hot garbage. There's games that have been launch titles on the PS4 or Xbox One, even games that came out later on in the PS3 360 era that are graphically far superior to Dead Alliance in almost every single way possible. Dead Alliance also is plagued with graphical bugs and glitches from time to time, and like most budget shooters, it has problems with dropping frames, as well as slowdown speeds. And out of curiosity, I did look up this game on PC to see how the graphics looked, and in general how the game performed visually, and it really wasn't that much better, sadly. But how does the game actually play? Well, I mean, look at it. It is by no means a good game. And after playing it for not even 10 minutes, I remember my mouth dropping to the floor and all I could say were the words, "Holy shit, this game is tragic." Oh, the controls. Okay, so, Wow, I don't even know. You see, because explaining how bad the game's controls, or really any game for that matter, is so difficult unless you actually experience the controls for yourself. But let me just say, and I know I'm prone to exaggerating at times, but it's somewhat obvious the developers who designed the controls for this game have never once touched a controller before, favoring keyboard and mouse PC shooters. And that is obvious because aiming or looking around in this game is by far the strangest, clunkiest, and most awkward mess feeling in the world. The analog sensitivity, or dead zone, is so outrageously massive. So what ends up happening is when you move the analog slightly to the left or the right, for example, nothing happens, like at all. Usually in most games you'd very slowly start turning, then of course the more you push the analog to one side, the faster you turn. In Dead Alliance, you have to move the analog stick more than you would normally have to, and when your character starts moving, it's almost at full speed right off the bat. Then when you're aiming your weapon, the turning speed is the exact same as if you weren't aiming your weapon at all, instead of most games where the aiming speed tends to be significantly slower, making aiming at enemies easier and of course more precise, which is the whole point of aiming in a first-person shooter. It's so difficult to aim in Dead Alliance sometimes, to the point where there's times I don't even bother aiming because by the time I get my crosshairs on the enemy, I'll be dead. The game, it's like some weird hybrid of Call of Duty, Dead Island, and in a strange way, Titanfall, sorta? There's perks, weapon attachments, kill streaks, and the general control scheme are extremely similar to that of Call of Duty. The map design and overall layout, people complain saying that it's also horrible. It's not that bad. It's not good, don't get me wrong, but come on now, at least the maps are playable. And to be honest, there's a few kill zone maps, for example, that I think are god-awful compared to some of the maps in Dead Alliance. Though, the players spawn at bullshit locations like right behind you, or in Capture the Flag, I've had enemies spawn extremely close to my team's flag, but nothing different than any other arcade shooter I've played that's like this, so I can't really complain too much. The way the zombies work in this game is actually not even that bad. Certain modes and maps I tend to notice spawn significantly more zombies than others, and the zombies vary from being borderline useless and ineffective to being extremely annoying and or relentless.
Successful detonation. Recovering all bases. Scouts awaiting your order.
The cool thing is that there are certain weapons, equipment, and even kill streaks that allow you to take control of zombies and use them against the enemy team. Even if you are outnumbered in a gunfight, like in a 3-to-1 scenario, if you know what you're doing, you can very easily win that gunfight by using the zombies to your advantage. And honestly, I really like the zombie aspect of this game, even if it does come across as gimmicky sometimes. The more you play the game, the more you progress in your rank, and the more you progress, the more you unlock different attachments, kill streaks, perks, and various other things. Unfortunately, Dead Alliance, other than having the zombie aspect here, it really doesn't do anything new or exciting. It takes almost every aspect, features, and gameplay from other popular titles that are on the market, but it doesn't do any of them perfectly. Everything is half-assed, from the graphics to the game's sound to the gameplay itself, and really every single part of this game comes off as if it's not even complete, as if what I'm playing right now is a beta version of an unfinished project. and there's no denying that this game is horrible. It's probably one of the most, if not the most, unpolished game I've ever played in my life. And yet, I fucking love this game, and I don't know why either. Dead Alliance has this weird, captivating charm to it. It's addictive, but at the same time, it's like watching a bad car accident that you can't look away from, or even something along the lines of watching one of those god-awful Neil Breen movies.
He killed himself! He killed himself!
Call 911. Jim! Jim! Call 911! How could you have done this? Jim! I can't believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide?
Maybe I'm a little biased, I must admit, because for whatever strange reason, I am stupid good at this game. So good, I have never not been in the first place on the leaderboards in every single match I've ever played. However, I should point out that no one plays this game online, at least on the PS4. Half of the matches are filled with bots instead of real players, and even when real players are in the games, I'm destroying them. Is that something I should be proud of? Probably not, but I'm having a blast playing this game, so hey, whatever, right? Dead Alliance is definitely one of those it's so bad it's good games, and even though this game is a horrible dog pile hot mess piece of crap, I've had more fun playing this trash than most games I've played in the past year, and those games were even AAA titles with very high ratings on Metacritic and other game sites. Look, this game is absolutely not for everyone, I'll be the first one to tell you that, and I would love to have seen this game be made and developed by a much better company, because it does have a good concept to it, and could have been something special if it was made right. But in this case, it's just another one of those games like Enemy Front, Legendary, Jericho, or even Turning Point Fall of Liberty, where the concept is great, but it was poorly executed. And that's unfortunate for Dead Alliance, because it could have been good, but it wasn't. And it being a budget title, I don't care what anyone says, is no excuse for complete and utter failure. It's a shame, and that's Dead Alliance in a nutshell. A horrible, miserable, shameful mess of a game. And for whatever stupid reason, I can't help but love it.
No more damn books. No more books.